which once bustled with manufacturing, mining, and farming. We all know from inspiration, history, and nature, we deserve a return to the success and growth of generations past, a birthright being squandered by corruption in Albany, and the depredations of an insecure, scheming mountebank posing as governor, who loathes both us and himself. As liberty beckoned to enslaved peoples behind the Iron Curtain via American broadcasts after World War II, we now say, believe, rise, and join us. Welcome to Radio Free New York.
Hey guys, welcome to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister, and we have Kevin Wilson with us.
Hello.
Hey Kevin, how's it going?
Oh, living the dream.
Living
Just
the
doing,
dream.
Yeah, well, you know. Soon, the nightmare of this election will be over, though.
I don't know if that's an accurate
No, Brad,
statement,
that's
Kevin.
not true, actually.
That's not
It's
true
not at all accurate.
I'm going to predict this, and you know, you guys can all go back and tell me if I was wrong or not. I'm going to predict that into December, this election is going to be disputed over mail-in ballots and early voting and COVID and murder hornets and time machines.
Yeah. Murder hornets spoiled the elections.
Yep. So, although right before we jumped on air, it was pretty interesting. It sounded like they said 53% of voter turnout has already happened, which would be insanely high.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad that's insanely high, but so many people voted early. They said between early voting and absentee voting, it was something like 38 to 40% of people. I don't remember the exact number, but a big chunk of people voted before Election Day this time.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think government's response to COVID certainly has created that situation. But so if you haven't figured it out today, if you're listening to Radio Free New York right now, and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Parler and Twitch and TikTok and Snapchat and your daily news sources and the television and other radio stations haven't told you today's election day. So
yeah, it's weird. You'd think more people would be talking about it. Why, Facebook, why didn't you tell me? I was only notified like 200 or 300 times, and really I needed that like 400 or 500 mark.
Yep. Yeah, it's like I can't go anywhere, like literally anywhere, without some sort of reminder to vote. Which don't get me wrong, that's a great and wonderful thing. I hope more people participate in voting. But really, what I'm hoping we get is educated voting. And
yes.
I don't know that we're gonna get that, which is
can I tell you a pet peeve of mine?
Oh, please.
Something that drives me totally nuts is when someone comes up to me and they say, "Hey, I voted." I was like, "Oh, cool. Who'd you vote for?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't remember, but I voted, and that's important." And I'm like, "No, you did it wrong. You should know who you voted for and why." Just don't know why you're voting for someone. Don't go and vote uninformed. You could be voting for a complete, moron or someone who's destructive. Like, just understand why you're voting.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's why I do appreciate. I will have friends reach out to me. Actually, I spoke to somebody this morning, and we talked about we're going to go through their ballot together, and go through at least the people that I know, and I can give them background and show them their platforms, and they can make the decision about whether or not they're comfortable filling in that dot next to that person's name. And it always makes me feel really good when somebody sits there and says, I don't want to be uninformed. I recognize that maybe I don't know what I need to. Will you help at least guide me, in the right direction? I had a couple phone calls, people asking how to find information about certain candidates, so I was able to find those websites, send it over to them. And this is something that I think is really important. If you know that your friends and family are going to vote, which hopefully they will, it's really great to help make sure that they're informed so that they can make an informed decision. And I know especially now, sometimes people will say, well, I really don't want them to vote because I disagree with them. And, maybe you can take that opportunity to show them the planks of somebody's platform that you think will relate to them, that maybe is somebody that you'd rather have them vote for. And don't be forcible about it. Don't argue with them about it. Just have an open conversation about, hey, I think this is really cool about this candidate. What do you think? And just see what happens. Maybe you sway some hearts and minds.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the hope. It's just to kind of be there as a source for people, and that's what we hope to do on this show, of course, too, is to be a source of information for folks and make sure you understand who's on your ballot, what they stand for. And we would like to hear, too, who you're voting for today. A few of you have already chimed in online, too. But give us a call, 585-346-3000. We're here until 1 p.m. Eastern Time, live. Give us a call, 585-346-3000. Tell us who you're voting for. Keep it quick, though. I don't want 10-minute diatribes on this stuff. Like, keep it pretty quick.
Yeah, quick call in, 10 to 20 seconds. And if you're a candidate listening right now to the show, you can call in and plug yourself. Once again, we're going to keep you short, 10 to 20 seconds. Not going to let you ramble on for 30 minutes. But if you want to make sure that people know you're out there and trying to get elected, your name's going to be on the ballot, great. If you're listening to the show and there's a candidate that you're really excited about, we'd love to hear who that candidate is, and maybe like 10 seconds as to why you're excited about that candidate. So that's good. The other thing that I think is important to emphasize on Election Day is it is okay to leave parts of your ballot blank.
Yes.
That I think is super, super important, because if you're unsure about a candidate, why would you want to cast your vote for a candidate that you might find out totally disagrees with your values, or is going to pursue an agenda that is just totally against what you want? I do have trouble with people who just fill their ballot to fill their ballot, and they have no idea what they're voting for. I think that's like an irresponsible way to use your freedom of voting.
No, I agree, and I'm a big proponent of just like you said, leaving the ballot blank. Otherwise, you get situations like there's that guy. I think it was. I'm probably gonna get the details wrong. It was. I think it was in Indiana. Or Illinois. Yeah, actually, it was Illinois, because there's a heavy Democratic district. This Republican won the Republican primary, but he was a Nazi. And he ended up getting a ton of votes because a bunch of people were just like, oh, well, Republican line, probably fine. No, know who you're voting for. You could end up voting for someone like that. Or just leave it blank. If you really don't know, don't assume the Democrats or the Republicans or whoever are going to be your answer here. No, I left it blank. And there's a couple ballots I ended up leaving blank, mostly out of principle this time. The Supreme Court judges, I voted NOTA for all those because I actually don't think that they should be elected. I don't think it's a good process. So
you think those positions should be appointed instead?
Yeah. I mean, we've supported. I've supported candidates before for those positions who are good. A lot of the people on there are really good, and they're well qualified. But it's not like a policy-based position. It's a qualification type of thing. That position, I really think that it should probably be appointed instead of in a few of the other judge positions too. Although I support a few candidates for judge like Meredith Vaca and Elena Carriola and people like that.
Yeah,
I've gotten to meet
absolutely.
and talk to and all that stuff. But
the other thing too is if you feel like for some reason you really don't want to leave it blank, then do a write-in. I put in 2 write-ins today on my ballot. I did one. There were especially, if somebody's running unopposed, I don't know why I feel the need to not allow somebody to run unopposed, but I do. It's kind of like, what a cheated race that is. So I know there was a city court judge position that just had a candidate, on the Democratic line, nobody opposing them. I wrote in a good libertarian candidate in the district that isn't running, but they are now. So.
Oh, good. Should coordinate on that. Just quick write-in campaign.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I'll let you know off air. Who that was. There was another slot that I wrote somebody in for. I can't recall which one it is. I'd have to pull up my ballot and see what it was. But yeah, write-in is always an option, guys. You don't have to be stuck with the names on your ballot. All right, guys, you're listening to Radio Free New York. We're going to take a break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about these local elections and what the ballots are looking like. We'll be back in a moment on Radio Free New York.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
This year, Camp Good Days is reimagining the 20th annual wine auction dinner as an online auction. The auction will be held on November 12th through the 19th and will include medal-winning wines and spirits from this year's Finger Lakes International Wine and Spirits Competition, and also an array of other exciting auction items. Cancer doesn't stop during the pandemic, and neither do we. We have continued offering a variety of programs for our families, including virtual camps. The money raised from this auction will help us to continue providing our many programs and services for children and families in our community impacted by cancer. Please visit campgooddays.org or call 585-624-5555 for more information.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. We have Kevin Wilson with us, and we've got our first caller on today, Steve from Dansville. Steve, welcome to Radio Free New York.
Yes, hello. Kevin mentioned those four. I just got done voting row B, the Republican line, and I voted for those four judges for the Supreme Court, and I was wondering, I just heard what Kevin said. Are they good judges?
Yeah, honestly, a lot of them are. I've a few of them reached out for like the Libertarian line. I don't have anything against them. As far as I'm aware, they are good and well qualified judges. But I didn't know for sure too. On some of them, I didn't know much about, so I wouldn't be comfortable voting for them.
Well,
I think to also kind of bring in what Kevin's discussion was on not wanting to elect judges is he prefers a process of appointing the Supreme Court justices.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
So row B is okay to vote for, right?
Sometimes. I mean, depends on the candidate. I mean, I would prefer people in New York 25 don't vote row B. That's for sure. Actually, the strange thing, I've had so many people say, "Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna vote for the guy running against Joe Morelli." I'm like, there's two actually. There's a couple of them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, well, I'm gonna vote for the red one. What's his name? Oh, I don't know, just the red one. Okay, all right. But yeah, I mean, listen, I would suggest, when you're voting, just make sure you know who you're voting for, and make sure you do your research, because you don't know, they could be weirdos. I'm not making any specific accusations against anyone running now. Just sometimes you get some interesting folks running for office, and just because they're with a party that you like and prefer doesn't mean they're actually representing your values well.
Yeah, no, I'll kind of like throw in here too.
Yeah, thank you for the call.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you so much for calling in, Steve. Something I throw out there. I don't typically share who I voted for. I think voting is one of those things that you get to hold close with those decisions you have. But I will say that, man, like every single election I've ever been in, I believe. I'm trying to think. There might have been one election where this wasn't the case, but I don't think so. My dots aren't filled in on just one line. There's many times where I look there and I say, hey, there's this candidate that really represents my values, and they're on a line that maybe you wouldn't think would represent my values, or vice versa. There's somebody on this line that, yeah, I thought they would have represented my values, but after talking with that candidate and speaking with their campaign and understanding their platform, you know what? I'm just not comfortable with that. So I do personally, I try to avoid voting straight party lines. I just try to be as educated as I possibly can. And if I'm not sure, I'm usually hesitant to give my vote, not because that person's not a good person, not because maybe they wouldn't represent me, not because they're underqualified, but because I just don't know for sure. And if I don't know for sure, I don't want to, sign my name to that person without knowing.
Yeah. And if you can, do a little quick research. That's all. And you can look up your ballot at the like your local board of elections. They should have a link to look up your ballot so you know who you're voting for again. And if you're going to vote for, again, is it the judge positions, understand what it is too. Like the Supreme Court in New York State, it's a lot of commercial claims, it's a lot of civil claims, or it's not necessarily what you think it is. And same with like surrogate court, it has to do with estates basically. So just know what you're planning on voting for. We should read some of these comments though. Let's get to some of these comments coming in. So we got Nate who's saying voting for Joe at the top of the ticket. Only vote that does anything in New York. So I'm assuming Nate's voting for Dr. Joe Jorgensen because it has to do with a ballot access issue. The third parties like the Libertarian Party, Green Party need to get those votes on the presidential line in order to continue being parties. Brian says
Independence Party is running kind of their own ticket as well.
Yeah, they are. I mean, that guy he's on, I don't know, like a dozen states or something. It's interesting. I expect him to like endorse Biden. That's kind of what I was expecting this year.
Yeah. We should explain that for folks just so they understand what's going on here in New York. New York State changed the rules as to how parties are allowed to have access to the ballot. And so there are, you've got your big two, you've got red team, blue team, but then there are other minor parties like the Conservative Party, Working Families, Libertarian Party, Green Party, Independence Party. I guess Sam Party is just going to cease to exist because they don't have
they didn't bother
candidate on the ballot. So what that means is if these parties don't get, I think what's it going to be, 175,000 votes, do you think, Kevin?
It's 130,000 or 2%, whichever is greater. So it's probably going to be higher than 130,000.
Yeah, I'm thinking
close to 160, 170.
Yeah, probably around 170. So, for example, let's say the Libertarian Party Joe Jorgensen doesn't get those 170,000 votes on this ballot, Libertarian Party won't have ballot access next year. So that's something new. Governor Cuomo and his cronies put that together. They were really nervous about how elections could look with third parties gaining steam, and also they were really, really upset with the Working Families Party. Cuomo does not like them at all, and because they endorse somebody other than him, so it's kind of his revenge on there. So that's a ramification that this election will have, is ballot access for those independent voices, those minor parties.
Yep. So if you care about those minor parties, that's their existence is determined by presidential vote this year. I'll read off a couple more of these. As Brian says, Donald Trump all the way. All right, Brian. I'm sure there's a couple more of you on this station saying the same thing too. Nate also saying, yes, hate the constant push to vote, but not the push to be an informed voter. Absolutely. Totally agree with you there. Garrett saying, today's the toughest day for me to be kind and patient with my fellow Americans. Oh, come on, Garrett. Yeah, it's a battle every day, buddy.
Every day. Come on. Especially
Dan,
where he works, too. I know where he works. It's got to be a battle for him every day.
No, I'm sure. Yeah, he gets that quite a bit. But important to be patient, work with people, bring them over where they're at. Dan says, straight red except for Kevin. Oh, thank you, Dan.
There you go.
Appreciate that. Yep. Yolana says, excited to have voted for Meredith Vaca, Joe Jorgensen, and, of course, Kevin. Thanks, Yolana. Appreciate that. And Nate also says, I don't think they should list political parties on the ballot. Make people do the research. I don't know. What do you think of that?
I'm 100% on board with that. Actually, I ran as when I ran for city council in 2017. That was one of the things that I would talk about with voters constantly, is that, and I usually started with school board, because the suburbs around us, their school board elections are nonpartisan. So they're listed on the ballot and you don't know what party they're associated with. I mean, I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that that's a situation that puts the people in a position where they have to actually know who they're voting for. And maybe they would be a little more hesitant about voting for somebody they didn't know if they weren't sure which party they associated with. And, here's the thing about parties. The idea is that if you know what party somebody's associated with, the thought process is that they must represent those parties' values. Well, the problem is, over years and years, party values have changed, party leadership has changed, people within those parties have changed, and people can just get themselves on the ballot many times based on winnability instead of based on their actual morals and values and if they align with party views or not. So it doesn't mean the same thing. It just doesn't. You see that party next to somebody's name and you want to trust it, and then you find out later maybe that wasn't the case. So yeah, I think nonpartisan ballots forces people to be a little more educated at the polls.
Yeah, I think so too. You gotta know the names that you're voting for, and that wouldn't stop parties from saying like, hey, you guys should vote for these 5 candidates or whatever, when they're running for city council. They could still do that. They could still say like, yeah, you have our endorsement. Okay, fine. They're just not going to have a D next to their name. Not going to be in row A when you go and look on the ballot, or row B. You're just going to have to go and know, okay, pick one of these candidates, and you got to know enough about what they stand for to be an informed voter to make your choice.
Yeah, I say alphabetical order based on first name, and that's not because my name's Andrew.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, it seems like you're setting yourself up for an advantage there, sir.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys, you're listening to Radio Free New York. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear more about who you're voting for today and why. We'll be back in a moment on Radio Free New York.
God bless America.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll see some clearing skies out there, temps in the 30s, low 40s. On Wednesday, we start the big turnaround. We get sunshine, much milder. Temperatures will reach into the 60s for a high. And we're going to keep that beautiful weather going right through the end of the week. 60s for highs with some sunshine both Thursday and Friday. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
The Open Door Mission presents a Mission Minute with Executive Director Anna Valeria Eisman.
Recently, the United States Interagency Council on Homelessness released a document called Expanding the Toolbox that looked at the government's response to homelessness. It cited several areas where we have failed to address homelessness and presented opportunities to resolve these issues. The document says, in just 5 years, unsheltered homelessness increased by 20%. Simultaneously, the number of year-round beds available to serve persons experiencing homelessness, subsidized rapid rehousing, and permanent supportive housing rose by 42%. Despite significant increases in funding and beds, overall homelessness has been increasing in the United States. The document explains how the Housing First as a one-size-fits-all approach to homelessness is not working, that it is certainly a tool in the toolbox, but it should not be the only one. And we agree. Housing First exclusively prioritizes single adults and permanent supportive housing, which leaves transitional housing and youth and families largely underserved. We are excited for this acknowledgement in the report, and we will continue to advocate for all of those impacted by homelessness.
Restoring hope and changing lives. OpenDoorMission.com.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
WYSL. Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Sponsored by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
Rochester families are singing the praises of Agape Black Belt Center even more in the age of distance e-learning. Not only can your kids learn martial arts online, but we've hired a certified teacher to help your kids keep on task with their schoolwork too. The Raw family offers e-training for kids and adults that includes martial arts, discipline, respect, manners, and more. See Mrs. Joanna Raw at 3750 Monroe Ave, Suite 1000, Pittsford, or at agapebbc.com. Agape Black Belt Center, where leaders are made.
Rochester's only NCAA Division II athletic scholarship program wants you. Our Life in the Balance approach to athletics will provide you with an opportunity to succeed in the classroom and in your sport while allowing you the time to be involved with your personal interests and even study abroad. The Redhawks compete in the East Coast Conference, and their student athletes excel in the classroom and on the playing field. If you're ready for the challenge of high-level athletics while earning a college degree that will prepare you for the future, visit robertsredhawks.com.
WYSL. Don't set foot on another trail without a Soul Sun Charger. It's the power bank perfected. Whether you fish, hunt, camp, hike, snowmobile, barbecue, or just spend time outdoors for work, having a sensible solar system to charge your USB devices is essential these days. Soul Green Energy Sun Chargers are designed rugged and dependable with the ability to charge itself. You'll want one because of what you like to do. You'll need one to do what you've got to do when there's no power around. Discover more at bestsunchargers.com today.
An experienced professional professional with more than 15 years in dentistry, Dr. David Olivo welcomes new patients to his family practice at 2005 Lyle Avenue. At the office of Dr. Olivo, you'll discover a warm and comforting environment staffed by professionals who are committed to providing the best available dental care while assuring your complete comfort. Call 328-3382 for an appointment. Dr. David Olivo, offering quality dentistry with a gentle touch.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. Got Kevin Wilson with us, and we've got more comments filtering into the live feed here. I do want to give you guys the chance to call in, though. If you've got a candidate who you're voting for and you want a quick 10, 20 seconds on the air to tell us who it is and why you're excited, feel free to give us a call. That number is 585-346-3000. Once again, it's 585-346-3000. And we want to know, who are you going to vote for? Who are you excited to vote for? Let's keep it positive. Let's keep things, moving smoothly. And then a little bit later, I think Kevin and I are going to try to make some predictions here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're gonna tell you what the future looks like, and you guys can hold us accountable to that a few weeks from now.
There you go.
When it comes true, and we look like wizards.
Yep. So I'm gonna make my first prediction. Technically, second because I made one earlier. But my first prediction is following the election, people are going to be angry and fighting with each other.
You're probably right on that one. That's
Yep.
That is probably going to continue. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of that.
You heard it here first. That's yeah.
It's a good call. Actually, before we move on, I do want to make sure we send a shout out down the line to the other stations that are carrying Radio Free New York, WACK out in Newark, and WENY, the Patriot, down in the Southern Tier. I know y'all can't call in for our live show, but we appreciate you. I say you can send us an email about who you're voting for. We won't get it before the election. We won't be able to read it on air before the election, but we do love your feedback when you send stuff. So thank you, everyone, for listening there as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We love hearing from you guys. So definitely reach out to the station. Let them know that you enjoy the show. Reach out to us with your comments, your feedback, and questions. And sounds like we've got a caller on the line from Greece. We've got Jared. Jared from Greece. Welcome to Radio Free New York. Oh, Jared, you there?
Us?
I think we lost Jared. Jared, if you're listening, I think we lost you there for a minute. So feel free to give us a call back. All right. We've got somebody calling in from Irondequoit.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, Steve. I recognize that voice.
Yeah, you sound
Steve,
familiar,
who you voting for assembly?
I'm voting for Steve Becker in the 136th.
That is definitely my choice. That is
Just want to remind people to vote on row F.
There you go. Yep. Vote for row F and Dr. Steve Becker. Thank you so much for calling in.
And good luck to Kevin, too.
Oh, thank you, Steve.
Yep.
All right, awesome. Yeah, thanks for a call. Again, that's Steve Becker, who's been on the show before. We interviewed him a few weeks ago.
There we go.
Yep. So, and I'll read off a couple more of the comments that we're getting to. Will Phillips says, "Oh, actually, before we get to that, we got Jared back on. I think Jared, you with us?
Jared, welcome back to Radio Free New York.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, there you are. Doing good. Thanks for
I don't know
calling.
what happened last time. I'm super glad to split my ballot, Democrat and Libertarian. Of course, I voted for Kevin. He's easily the most qualified for the position. Super happy to vote for Joe Jorgensen, too. Get out and vote today, guys. Like, for real.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for that, Jared.
Yeah, you guys have a great day.
Thanks,
you too.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah, bye.
Thanks
Kevin,
for calling.
You're getting a lot of love today.
No, I appreciate it, folks. And again, got another
All
one.
right,
Donnie from Springwater.
We've got Donnie from Springwater on the line. Donnie, welcome to Radio Free New York.
Thank you. first time I ever called. I'm a retired school teacher, and I already voted for Trump all the way. I like his values. I like what he's going to do for the country, and I think Joe Biden is beyond his time. He was okay when he was before, but I think Trump does what he says he's going to do, and I sure hope he gets elected.
Very good. Thank you so much for your call, and especially for calling in on your first time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Donnie. Yeah, and so a few more comments coming in online, too. But if you want to call in, 585-346-3000, give us a call. Who are you voting for? And real quick, why, if you want to share, too. 585-346-3000. Thank you for the calls. And we got another one from Carrie Bittner, who says, voting for Joe Jorgensen and Dwayne Whitmer. Dwayne has also been on the show before, several times. And she also adds, go with Kevin Wilson, Monroe County voters. So thank you. Thank you, Carrie. John says, Joe Jorgensen with 3 exclamation points.
3 of them. 2 wasn't
3.
enough.
No, you need all 3.
Yep. No, absolutely. Yeah, I think that one of the things that I'm finding that is a little interesting, and it would be really interesting to see if this is the case or not. This past week, I feel like everybody kind of hit political and election fatigue. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's almost like things just like kind of like tapered off a little bit the last few days. And I don't know if that's just maybe me and in the environment that I'm in, but it's almost kind of like everybody was pushing really, 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 really hard, and then like the last 2 days, things kind of died down. It's almost like people started becoming agreeable with each other. Maybe it's just the fact that like here's where we are. Are they gonna get my guy or gal elected or not? What are your thoughts, Kevin? Do you think things are tapering down, or are things gonna ramp up crazy throughout the day?
I mean, maybe that's why your prediction's wrong, and everything's going to chill out, and everyone's going to be like, all right, I'm done with this. Let's just go back to our lives and live our lives and hope that the government leaves us alone. They ain't going to, but
maybe.
like... No, we could hope. I mean, I hope your prediction's wrong. I do hope it's wrong.
But... No, I hope so, too. Unfortunately, it comes from the realist in me and not the pessimist in me. But yeah, I mean, I will say it was interesting. I was on a road trip last week, and while I was driving through, I started seeing political signs that were like, "Let's all get together." I think it was or something like that. I can't recall, but it was like, let's stop fighting over politics. Let's create some unity and happiness. And I thought that was pretty cool, seeing that somebody spent their money on that message instead of whomever their candidate of choice was.
Yeah, I haven't seen a ton of those. The 2 that I've been seeing lately is one are presidents are temporary, Wu-Tang is forever.
Yep, I've seen that. Yeah.
And then I've seen a bunch of Alan Diggs sign. So Bills
I
fans.
have not seen that. Nope.
Oh, well, it must be a bunch of Bills fans in my neighborhood. So Alan Diggs, 2020.
There you go. Write them in.
Yeah. That is one option. You can certainly write. I don't think that Josh Allen is old enough to be president. I think he's still like 25. He needs a few years.
Yeah. Now I do know too. Kevin had pointed out that he does not see my "I voted today" sticker. Because I was wearing a jacket when I voted. I don't know where Kevin's voting, but where I'm voting, it's very cold outside, and so
nope, I got mine right here.
Yep,
Listen, Andrew,
Kevin's got his. He's wearing it, and then he promptly reminded me that if you're not wearing your "I voted today" sticker, your vote might not get counted. So after the showing, I had to quickly go over to my jacket and get it and re-stick it on my shirt.
You got to wear it all day. And you got to take an Instagram picture with it. Otherwise, I don't even know if it counts. Guys, I'm kidding. Of course it counts.
I do have the official selfie. I did do that. I did document it. It's in the history books.
As long as you documented it, and put the right hashtags in, that's really what matters. Like, why vote if I can't show social media that I voted?
Exactly. Yeah. Which is kind of strange for a guy like me who doesn't have social media.
Yeah, that's true. You got the permazuck, and so you're off. So yeah, you can't share on Facebook that you voted this year.
Yep.
So sad.
Yeah, it is sad. I'm sure everybody's like looking through their Facebook memories, seeing pictures of me in their memories and wondering, where's Andrew?
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are going to take our last break of the hour. So make sure you go out, vote real quick while we're on break, and then come back because Kevin and I are going to go ahead and we're going to talk about our predictions for 2020 election. We'll talk about that when we come back on Radio Free New York.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Need help with health insurance? The Greece Regional Chamber provides assistance with health insurance for businesses, nonprofits, families, and individuals throughout our region. We pride ourselves on the personalized service that we provide for our clients. Let us help you find health insurance plans that fit your needs and navigate the paperwork. Greece Chamber Benefit Partners, located at 2402 Westridge Road in Rochester, New York, offers a broad range of medical insurance plans for businesses, nonprofits, individuals, and families throughout the greater Rochester Finger Lakes region, working with insurance companies including Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield, Univera, and MVP Healthcare. We can also help you access insurance plans through the New York State of Health, the official health plan marketplace. Again, you do not need to live or work in Greece to utilize our brokerage services. We serve the greater Rochester Finger Lakes region of New York State. Visit greecechamber.org to sign up for one of our free health insurance information sessions or schedule an appointment with one of our licensed brokers. Call 585-227-7272. 585-227-7272.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. We've got Kevin Wilson with us. We're talking about 2020 election. Today's election day. Time to make some wild predictions and accusations, Kevin. Where do you want to start?
All right, I'll start. Wild prediction time. Vermin Supreme, well-known satirist and bootwear, is going to carry the state of Massachusetts in a dark horse write-in campaign. He's going to take it away.
You think so?
No, I don't.
Not at all. No. If anybody could, Vermin Supreme would be the guy.
I think he's running for Senate there as a write-in candidate, actually.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He's an interesting guy. He's highly intelligent and carries on a good show.
Yeah, he's very entertaining. Not necessarily the best image for the Libertarian Party to put forward, understandably, all the time. The people are critical of that, but he is an entertainer, who is in on the joke, and I find him hilarious. I really like him, actually.
Yeah, no, he's pretty good. I've met him twice, I think, and each time, good conversation. He's always got something just interesting and, of course, very, very wild. So, all right, so Vermin takes the state of Massachusetts. What else you got for us, Kevin?
Let's see. Serious prediction time. I think the Libertarian candidate Joe Jorgensen is going to get close to 5% of the vote. I think Biden's probably going to win, at least a popular vote. The Electoral College will be pretty close. I think he's probably going to win, but we'll see.
I think so.
Yeah. But, I'm looking at polls. I'm looking at how people responded to those in swing states and whatnot. It was close last time, too, and a lot of the polls were not correct. Mainstream media wanted to predict a runaway Hillary Clinton victory, and that was not the case. But not that it's going to matter for us voters in New York. I do predict that Biden will win New York State handily. I don't think that's going to be close.
Yep. No, I agree. I think that I don't even know when the last election was that a Republican candidate took the presidential in New York. Do you know, Kevin?
It was either 84 or 88.
Yeah, so that's a pretty statistically speaking, New York is not going red this year. It's just not going to happen. You look at the 2018 gubernatorial election to see that, and the 2014 and the 2010, and you get a pretty good indicator of how New York's going to shake down for the presidential this year.
And it was 84, by the way.
84.
That's the last time. But yeah, no, it's.
So if you want to make impact, vote gold. Keep the Libertarian Party alive in New York, because Biden's going to take it in New York regardless.
Pretty much. That's how it's going to go. I also think that I don't know if this is a thought, or so much as a worry, is I think that the Democrats are going to get that supermajority in the state Senate, which would be interesting. They would have firm control of the Assembly, the Senate, and the governorship. And what I predict after that, though, is that there's going to start to be bigger splits in the Democratic Party. They're going to end up
for sure,
kind of self-sabotaging themselves. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah,
because
you can see that happening locally between the different factions fighting each other. Imagine that on a state level.
Yeah, that's just going to get amplified. Like, I think they're going to get it, but then they're going to split so much on the issues that effectively you're going to have like 2.5 parties in the state legislature.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is it's going to be so terribly skewed. Instead of fighting over whether or not we should spend tax dollars on something, it's just going to be a fight over, should we spend more than too much on this thing or way more than too much on something, and it'll just kind of land somewhere in the middle. I think New York loses a lot of residents when that happens. I mean, we've already lost so many. Once some of these ridiculous laws and extra taxes get passed, the average working person already struggles to live here. It's going to be much more difficult.
Yeah. So, I mean, if that happens, I think it'll be a wake-up call for, like, the Libertarian Party to get more organized, or the Republican Party to get more organized, too. And the Republican Party could certainly try to earn my vote back. I have felt like they haven't deserved it in a little while in most races, with rare exceptions. There's a few.
Yeah, I would say that there's certainly been a couple for me, but yeah, I would generally agree that in New York, I've felt, and this varies, right? It varies across the state, varies across certain elections, but it's just felt very Democrat light.
Yeah.
And just kind of like they're sitting there saying, well, we're just not them. That's not good enough for me.
Yeah, got to do better. So hopefully they wake up to that opportunity and seize that for 2020 or next year. next election.
Yeah, 2021.
Now it's too late, guys.
Yeah.
Too late. You can't change much now.
Yeah, for sure. So, what do you think about, I kind of think about this. Let's just say Biden does win the presidency. When that happens, do all the Democratic governors get together and start rolling back COVID regulation to reboost the economy to what it was before they started choking everything down to make it look like that election bettered the economy and just do it straight partisan style? Or do you think that they're going to hang on to COVID restrictions and kind of just like ride it out?
I think they're going to hang on. I know a lot of people seem to think like, oh, if Biden wins, everything's going to open back up. They're just doing it to hurt Trump. I don't think so. I think they're, really scared of being blamed for stuff going wrong. So they err on the side of taking away our liberties to make sure they are at least looking like they're doing something and have plausible deniability when bad things happen. They're going to go with the if it saves just one life line. I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to continue doing that.
Yeah. But
Do
on the
you not
other
think so?
hand, they could just do stuff and say, well, Trump gave us this problem and it's his fault, and just blame him.
I mean, they are doing that. And,
Exactly. That's what I mean. So
there is plenty to criticize from President Trump. I don't think that the pandemic is solely his fault, though. There are things that he did wrong for sure, but this is a long-standing issue of bureaucracy at the federal level that will probably go unaddressed, and state-level incompetence, particularly in New York State with Governor Cuomo and how he dealt with the nursing home issues.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't care who gets elected. I don't see either of them looking at shutting down or rolling back how the FDA works to allow for, better opportunities for companies to create like different forms of testing and make it readily available to people. I don't see those issues getting fixed regardless of who gets elected.
Nope. Bureaucracy will continue to be slow and damaging, and it'll be hard to innovate and get ahead and adapt quickly to fast-moving situations.
Yep.
Oh, well.
Yep.
What other predictions do you have for us?
If you look at like the tech industry is pretty lightly regulated compared to other industries, and it's always growing because government's not there to like hold it back, except for when government is there to hold it back, and then it's a big problem. So it's like a great example right there.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Well,
go ahead. I was going to say, we got one more person who chimed in, said who they're voting for. So Jamie said, I voted for Kevin. So thank you, Jamie.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, good to see Jamie in there too. Yeah, I hope that all of you who are listening to the show today, if you haven't gotten out to vote, I hope you consider going to your Board of Elections website, downloading your sample ballot before you go out. Check over the names. If you're unsure about them, just do a quick Google search. Figure out who these people are, see if they stand for what you believe in. It really doesn't take a lot of time, 2-3 minutes per candidate, and then you can go to the polls today feeling informed enough to sign your name to somebody's candidacy. Just picture them, every bill they sign, your name's there next to their name. Make sure you're comfortable with that. Thank you so much for listening to Radio Free New York. We'll be back, same time, same place, tomorrow.